What's up? What's up, everybody? New Death Note, because sleep, who needs that, right? New Death Note. Basically, we already talked about, I would say, probably half, maybe even more than half of this in the previous video. Go check out that video first if you didn't, talking about all the new dungeons and et cetera, because I'm just going to briefly glance over all the things that we covered in that instead of like saying the exact same thing again, right? But we have a new Dev Note which gives us a little bit more information into the skills of the bosses, and it's going to be interesting to try, because like every time these new bosses skills first come out, like the dimensional hole stuff, I'm like, oh man, how are we gonna beat that? Or labyrinth stuff, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be challenging, or this and that. And then like we just like, oh, just a bunch of fire Nagabis. Okay, cool, bunch of fire twins. Okay, we'll use a bunch of fire Nagabis and twins, and everything should be fine. So whatever it is, doesn't matter. The boss's skills, just put a bunch of fire Nagabis, you'll be perfectly fine. Anyway, that's my game plan. I don't know about you guys. A bunch of fire guys, a bunch of twins, and a stick illusion in there. We should be good. I'm sure they're gonna try to make it not work like they always try to make it not work like that. They're like, no, you gotta use strategy. Like, strategy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, express our deepest gratitude towards summoners who have been showing interest in our upcoming event during this pandemic period, etc. New Dimension Hole Dungeon, Dimension Predator. I mean, I still think this is a cool unit. They want to do, I don't know if it's mandatory manual, but they're really like trying to drive home the point of like wanting this to be a manual unit. Not only has dark atmosphere and a bizarre form, but massive power. He's got some pretty crazy skills though. Dungeon with high difficulty level that requires manual battle. Again, manual battle. 4 waves, including the mid-boss wave. A total of 3 phases will be played in a final boss, Dimension Predator. Right? So we got like a wave of trash mobs, mid-boss, kind of like Giants, Dragons, Necro, kind of 4-wave pattern. And then the end boss, 3 phases though. 3 phases like you know what, actually, it's kind of similar to the Karazhan dungeons already, like, the rune farming dungeon, Dimensional Hole already, because the boss has multiple phases, right? So it's going to be kind of like that, but there's going to be like 1 extra level, you know what I mean? There's going to be a mid-boss where there aren't mid-bosses already in those dungeons. Anyway, monsters entering battle will have a buff that increases the monster's basic attack power. We already discussed this. It's going to be crazy. What is it, 1,000 speed on some of these monsters. Monthly dungeon played once a month. Each dimension's entrance limit condition will be applied as the same. Like with default 4-star or below monsters, etc., whatever, like, or only water monsters. It's gonna continue with that trend based on where the dimensional, where the, what is his name? Dimension Predator, where the Dimension Predator is. 1 dimensional hole energy will be consumed for 1 entrance count, but yeah, you should. I mean, it's not like it's gonna suck up dimensional energy, right? And then we saw this in the other video where it multiplies all your stats of your unit, base unit, by 10, which is absolutely crazy looking to see 1,000 speed on a unit. It really is. But that's just to try to mitigate, like, so that runes don't play as big of a part in it, and it's just about like this actual strategy. So it's nice. I like that, and I also like seeing 9,000 attack power on units because I'm a YouTuber and that's how we do things. Anyway, the skills. Touch of Exploitation inflicts damage to the enemy, ignores all damage reduction effects like shields, invincibility. Shields, invincibility, defense buff, and steals all beneficial effects granted to the target. So you don't want buffs. Buffs are going to be basically irrelevant, right? Bad. If he steals the beneficial effects. Attacks all enemies, grants 2 continuous damage with a turn limit each, with the Endless Pain. So that kind of says, like, maybe we might want to put it Veramos. They're trying to make Veramos relevant again, aren't they? I know it's going to be like, Veramos is going to be, that's the trick. It's going to be use Veramos in here because it's going to be, right? I feel like that's going to be it, isn't it? Grudge Eruption passive. Energy bead is activated when the boss is attacked 5 times. When 3 energy beads are activated, the energy released to instantly attack the enemy target. The target's attack power and defense will be decreased for 3 turns. But again, something like Varamos or something like Tetra is going to be able to cleanse that off, cleanse the continuous damage off just passively. Boss is immune to attack bar decrease effect and glancing hit increasing effect. Also, the effect of the attack that's proportional to HP will be weakened, just like what's currently in the Rift Beast, right? Because the HP based damage is weakened. So it also says, I mean, it doesn't say anything about the other debuffs, so I figure maybe we can still put a bunch of debuffs and do like a crow, which does damage based on the amount of enemy debuffs, which is still going to do a lot of damage. We have Soul Clone passive, clones the souls of the enemy with high attack power and enemy with high defense to create 2 illusions. Bosses, the 2 buddies on the sides. But the clones the soul, this is kind of like, we kind of joked about this as well previously, is like, what if you have to fight against your own units like a mirror match? But I mean, this is kind of a little bit like that. Clones the souls of the enemy with the highest attack power and highest defense to create 2 illusions. Boss's attack power will be increased greatly if you fail to defeat the illusions within 25 turns. Clone Soul activated with Dimension's Predator's HP is at 70% and 40%. Kind of like the things in Labyrinth. So they're taking some mechanics from Labyrinth, some mechanics from Rift Beast, some mechanics from Dimensional Hole. But when his HP is at 70% and 40%, it's gonna do the Clone Soul, right? Or the Soul Clone. It's called 2 different things here, actually. Watch as I Phase 2. Well, that's when a new phase begins. Phase 2 attacks all enemies and monitors all enemies for 1 turn. If an enemy gets a turn while being monitored, it steals 10% of the target's HP. Monitors all enemies. What do you mean monitors enemies? That's weird. Watch as I. That's weird. Curse of Rage. It's going to be a Varamos dungeon. They want you to use I know they want you to use Varamos. I don't know why, but I feel like that's going to be it. Curse the enemy that inflicted the most damage for 3 turns. The cursed enemy will inflict 2 times damage on the boss, but guaranteed to be defeated when the curse ends. Curse will be put on another enemy for 3 turns when the cursed target is defeated. So, I mean, for things like Perna, for example, Perna seems like it. Is it like a bomb, or is it like in Labyrinth, or is it like defeated but will still be revived from like if it self revives, right? Well, actually, Perna revives with the bomb too, doesn't he? Yeah, I guess it would be just like a bomb then. Never mind. I guess I answered my own question. Battle against Dimensional Predator will consist of 3 phases. Every time the phase changes, the boss will use it. So it's kind of like mechanics from different dungeons we already have, kind of smushed into one hybrid. For the most part, that's kind of what it is. It's like Labyrinth stuff, and it's like Dimensional Rift Beasts stuff as far as like the HP situation, and then some stuff from the current rune farming dungeons, like the Cliff of Sweaty Beastmen or whatever. Soul Clone copies the summoner's monster with the highest attack power. That's kind of funny. That's actually another thing that we theory crafted. Like, what if you have to fight your own monsters in this? Because the 6th element is you. What if you have to fight yourself? Like, turns out this is a little bit, right? We hope many summoners will experience the fun of turn-based battle. Thinking it's Contra has been turn-based battle for 6 years. Did they not realize? Thinking and trying out various strategies in each turn. Talk about the rewards given when you clear Dimensional Predator. We already talked about these in the previous video. As far as that. And then these are all these runes are based on what rune drops are in whatever dungeon. Because he every month he's going to be right next to a different dungeon, right? So if he's in, for example, if he's in Karazhan 1 month, then he's going to have the same requirements of Karazhan, and he's going to drop the same runes from when you defeat him, right? Same thing with Lumel. He's going to have the same requirements that you need to do when you try to enter that, and he's going to drop the same runes that Lumel rune farming dungeons would drop. Same thing with Alunia, right? So, yeah. Buy more things. No, thank you. Not right now. Not right now. As soon as I can't beat one of these beast monsters, I'm going to buy like 9,000 things, aren't I? You know that's how it goes. Anyway, no, that's not how it goes. We gotta strategize. Use big brains. Use 200 IQ. And then second box, Ancient Grindstone, Ancient Gem, Ancient Magic Stone, Rune Ore, Ancient Magic Origin will be available. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that excited. It's only one a month, right? So it's like, it's not enough to really farm runes, grinds and gems this way. It's just like, it's a little extra, like just a little bit extra, right? So anyway, these ones, oh my god, these ones. So this is, here's my current strategy for these, right? It's a wind unit. I'm just gonna bring 5 fire Inugamis on this one. I'm just gonna bring 5 fire Inugamis as soon as it comes out. Bagel video, 5 fire Inugamis. Well, I don't even have 5 fire Inugamis on any account. 4 fire Inugamis and 1 other monster. Anyway, what are the skills on here? New dungeon, Steel Fortress. Attacks all enemies, decreases attack speed for 2 turns. Attacks the enemy target 3 times, decreases attack bar by 30% chance. Enemy will be stunned for 2 turns if the enemy's attack bar becomes 0. So he's trying to TOA us. He's trying to crowd control us. Thunderbolt passive whenever the enemy's 5th turn ends. Attacks a random enemy with a Thunderbolt. So you want to make all of your turns count. So you want to do big damage. Attacks 4 times in proportion to boss's attack power, and the attack will never land as a glancing hit. Stuns the enemy for 25% chance per beneficial effect granted on the boss. And he does beneficial, yeah, he does give himself beneficial effects. Stuns the enemy for 2 turns when the boss lands a critical hit. Increase the boss's attack power and critical rate for... and it will never land as glancing. Just because it doesn't land as a glancing hit, though, doesn't mean that it's going to crit all the time. So it's 2 totally different things. Like, not landing as a glancing hit does not mean, like, guaranteed crit. It's the same thing with Leica. I know you guys are like, oh, we don't have to put crit rate Leica. Like, no, you still have to put crit rate on Leica. He's not going to guarantee crit. Anyway, Steel Will passive increases the boss's attack power and crit rate for 1 turn when each turn begins, and grants a shield equivalent to 10% of the boss's HP. An increased defense effect on the boss for 1 turn when the boss is attacked by an enemy. The damage received by enemy is decreased by 20% per beneficial effect granted on the boss. So, you definitely, so I mean the crit rate buff is definitely, that's a 30% extra crit. So that's definitely going to improve the chances of him critting on things, especially if he can't glance, right? So it looks like you're going to want to either strip or block beneficial effects would be nice here. Right? That's kind of what I see. Strip, block, beneficial effects would be very strong. Anyway, then what do we have for Ancient Tormentor, Boss of Steel Fortress? Strong defense ability, just like its heavy appearance. Grants 4 beneficial effects on himself. Boss gets stronger with the beneficial effects. So recommend you remove these beneficial effects to lead to battle, or just block them from ever being put on in the first place, right? I mean, there's not too many units that block beneficial effects. Like, people that have Raoul are like, it's my time to shine. Yes. Raoul, yes! Because Raoul would be, and the attack power leader skill, wouldn't Raoul be like a really good unit for here now? Not that you want to like LD5 just for PvE content. But yeah, anyway, this guy, Punisher's Crypt, very cool type of unit. I'm excited about these new dungeons. I'm like, finally something new to farm all day, every day. I want to see another boss animation. Attacks all enemies, decreases there, and you know I'm gonna like, I'm really gonna try to like make fun teams for this as well. So that's gonna be cool. Attacks all enemies, decrease the attack bar by 30% each. Attacks the enemy target 7 times, absorb the attack bar by 20% each. So maybe revenge is going to be, you know, things that revenge. Too bad nothing is actually immune to attack gauge decrease. Maybe this is why they haven't been putting any immune to attack gauge decrease things in. Or just immunity, right? That's another thing. Or just killing him before he even gets turns. Skill will be enhanced as follows when the Ancient Punisher gains a designated turn. 5th turn, Dance of Swords number of attacks will be increased up to 3 times according to the attack speed. 10th turn, damage will be increased up to 100% according to the attack speed. Oh my god. And 15th turn, all attacks will ignore the enemy's defense up to 100% according to the attack speed. Oh god. Oh my god. That's painful. You're gonna have to speedrun this. That's very painful. So, extra damage, extra attack, number of attacks, and then all ignore defense. So he's basically like a 47 attack Lucian with extra damage. Right. Awesome. Very excited for that. Sarcasm. Damage received from the enemy will be decreased up to 70% according to the attack speed. Gains a turn instantly when the boss is granted with a decreased attack bar effect. Okay, so don't bring Lauren. Don't bring Lauren. Don't bring... Gains a turn instantly. So that's like F... That's... Wait a second. Fran too. F Fran. You can't use Fran or Lauren. You can't use Fran or Lauren in this dungeon. This is a 0 Fran, 0 Lauren dungeon. Because he's just going to get instant turns. So we want to decrease speed without using Lauren, without using Spectre, because Spectre also decreases attack gauge. Interesting. Okay. He looks scary. I wonder if they'll release, like, the Dark Fairy Queen to beat these dungeons. I don't know, man. I don't know. Different sense of pressure than Ancient Tormentor. In the Ancient Tormentor, yes. In the Ancient Tormentor, if the Ancient Tormentor felt heavy and hard, the Ancient Punisher feels sharp and fancy. Ancient Punisher has the fastest attack speed, than any other bosses ever. Oh, great. Awesome. Fantastic. So excited. Special passive skills to get stronger as the boss gets, and he's got high attack speed. Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay. Create their own strategy and defeat them in no time, or wail more. Right? Yes. Wail for what do we even? I don't even know what we'd be wailing for. Wail for something and figure it out later. Artifacts new. Okay, so artifacts, we already talked about these before, but we can actually see a little bit more of the specific sub-properties that the artifacts can have. Main properties are all going to be just flat, right? All going to be flat main properties. Again, we already talked about this in the other video. Sub-properties. So this is another thing that I didn't mention in the first one. The number of sub-properties will be decided based on the grade of the artifacts. Magic, rare, hero, legend. Same for runes. They're not going to be a like star level, right? The artifact will either have a new sub-property granted or one of the existing sub-properties value increased. Power up 3-star, +3, +6, +9, +12, depending on the grade. Just like the runes, you kind of get the idea what they are saying there. But there's not gonna be like, oh, I got a 3-star artifact, 4-star artifact, 5-star artifact. It's like, no, they're all just artifacts. They're either magic, rare, hero, normal, magic, rare, hero, or legend. They're only the colors. You get that they're valued based on the colors, not based on star levels. Like runes. Runes, you like 6-star rune. Like this is artifact is like there's no 6-star artifact. What are these special characteristics of the art? So this is interesting, right? This is like the thing to theorycraft, like what's going to be good for what. Artifacts have sub-properties made up of a variety of additional effects that are beneficial to battle that weren't available in the runes. Some of these seem crazy. Some of these have crazy combinations, and I'm just waiting for the community to break everything and make them. They're gonna need to patch it. You know it's gonna be some kind of crazy nonsense. Crit damage, type artifact, categorized by skill number, skill 1, 2, 3, 4, crit damage plus N%. That's potentially insane. Like, that makes it easier to BJR5. This is actually going to make it easier to R5 just in general, like any of it. Also, keep in mind that, yes, we're also going to be getting B12 dungeons. However, we also have the artifacts that we're going to be able to equip on the units, which is just going to make all our units stronger as well. So that kind of mitigates the B12 dungeons. As long as we get artifacts, we can make our units stronger, and it'll be easier to do the B12 dungeons based on those artifacts, right? So there you go with that one. Crit damage plus N. Oh, God. We're going to see Lucians hitting for like 40,000 damage per card. It's not going to be that much. Not per card. Recovery plus N%, attack and accuracy. But that's not even a real stat. I'll go with crit damage, thank you very much. Damage. So attribute artifacts categorized by attribute damage dealt on fire, water, wind, light, dark plus N%. Could be beneficial in some areas, especially when rune farming, right? could be very beneficial when rune farming or with like the Rift Beast and things like that. Damage received from water, fire. So this is interesting. Damage received from fire, water, wind, light, dark, minus N%. You could, in theory, get a really good damage reduction from wind and then put it on your arena defense. And then like someone's gonna come in and Lucian you and they're like, why is my Lucian not do that much damage? Oh, they have a damage received decrease from yada yada yada. From yada yada yada. What am I? I'm Seinfeld now. So that's interesting synergies, man. Interesting synergy. There's a lot more complexity, I feel, to builds now. And it's even another reason. Oh god, you guys are not gonna like this. It's another reason to potentially have many different of the same units. If you like to do RTA, maybe have like, oh, the enemy's going to use this team against me. Well, if they use this team against me, I want to use maybe this Fran. If I use this team against me, I want to use this Fran. It's always a Fran, right? Or I'm going to use this Ciara, right? Based on whatever enemies you're fighting, she could have different artifacts which may be more beneficial in one situation or another. People are like, I don't have a Ciara. Why are you rubbing it in, Bagel? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in, or maybe I did. I don't know. Anyway, this is just more reasons to build multiple different. You guys are like, no, I just fed my second, blah blah blah. But this is more reason to build additional of any one unit, because now there is even more ways to build. It's not just like, oh, build this on this kind of rune set, build this on that kind of rune set, build this on triple fight, build this on swift, and you're done. It's like, well, you also artifact this a certain way with this rune build, and artifact this a certain way with this rune build, right? So there's even more ways to build different units now. Even more complexity, more flexibility. I think it's cool. There's a lot of different. There is a lot though. This just adds like a whole nother level of depth to strategy. We're gonna. I feel like this is gonna be something that we like are like entrenched in for a while to come. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it feels like that. Attack, defense, speed increased proportional to lost HP up to N%. I never really get excited about that. I also see the units that people build. They don't really get it. It's like a Trevor thing, right? It's like Trevor kind of thing. Or Ardella's new passive. Was it always her passive? Her passive changed recently. Anyway, it's like an Ardella and Trevor kind of thing. Like, we don't really see too much of them, right? Increased attack and defense effect plus N%, which is always good, right? Increased speed effect plus N%. So I was taking a look at this. I don't think it's actually speed. It's just the speed effect. It's not like increased speed, like when you start the battle, you're like this speed, well then you use this speed effect. It's like whenever you have a speed buff on you, it's, you know what, that's also the increased attack power effect as well. It's not just always gives you extra attack. It's like when you have the attack power buff on you, gives you extra N% of attack power. Whenever you have a speed buff on you with the increased speed effect plus extra N% of, N is just, you guys know algebra? No, okay, oh well, we are in for a long video. I'm gonna need some more caffeine for this one. No, but yeah, it's just extra. Whenever you speed up, it's even more speed, right? So that's that. Increased attack, you know, it's good for Lucian. Either way, it's good for Lucian. You know what I mean? Increased crit rate effect, same thing. Damage dealt by counterattack, so that's gonna be good for things like Miho, Laika, Rakan, etc. Damage dealt by attacking together plus N%. So, you know, that's going to be good for Fire Gamis. That's going to be good for Twins. That's going to be good for Tark. Nobody still uses Tark. Okay. Bomb damage. Malak will be so happy. Oh my god. Life drain. Again, that's going to be good for like Miho, Laika, Rakan. HP when revived plus N%. This is kind of interesting. That could be possibly good for... like, I'm thinking Samath, man. I'm thinking Samath or like Water Joker, Blution, right? Extra HP when revived. Extra attack gauge when revived, plus N%. Extra attack gauge when revived. Where could that be useful? I'm thinking. Perna. I mean, there's a few different places. Damage dealt by reflect damage plus N%. Reflect damage. I mean, my first instinct is like Joltan, right? But I don't know if that one's going to be super popular because there's not too much stuff that reflects damage. I mean, there's some. There's like the Dark Pony. There's like Ragdoll now does that. Joltan. What else? There's a few other things that do that. Fire Mummy, right? Some people build the Fire Mummy for arena defense, for anti-Lucian. Additional damage by N% of HP. Additional damage by N% of attack. Additional damage by N% of defense. Additional damage by N% of speed. Oh my god, there's just all the different synergies, man. Damage received under inability effects minus N. So, this is potentially for... Like, the first thing that I think of when I see this is, like, if you are in RTA and your opponent is gonna Gani, Hathor, Nephthys, Asima you, right? This is, like, a good counter to Asima's and Nephthis's. Well, no, because that's not inability effects. This is a good counter to, like, Hathor's to receive less damage. But it's not, but see, here, okay. Never mind. I already disagree with this. Because the Gani Hathor, like, there's always one target that they're hitting that's not under inability effect. So it really doesn't even actually come into play for the Gani, like, to counter the Gani Hathor teams. And it's only inability effects. It's not, like, any harmful effects. It's just inability effects. So, damage received under inability effects. I don't know how I feel about that one, honestly. I guess we'll see it in effect. Speed under inability effects plus N. See, that could be an interesting one, though. That could be an interesting one for, like, Rakuni or Juno, because its speed under inability effects would allow them to cycle a turn faster, right? So that could be a thing that you put on Juno or Rakuni for RTA as an anti-Gani Hathor thing, right? But the damage received under inability effects, that's really not going to come into play because they're not going to be hitting those units that are slept anyway. You know what I mean? Received crit damage minus N, so that could be a good thing for arena defense. Crushing hit damage plus N. There you go for your Orion skill 2s. GG. So this, oh my god. Yo, that additional damage by, no, that's additional damage by N% of speed. All these are going to be very interesting to see, though. Very interesting to see. The speed under inability effects goes up to 30%, though. Max power plus 15, 30%. That could be really good. Is that an indirect kind of like Gani Hathor? Not a counter, but help you get out of the Gani Hathor lockdown. So that, I feel like that would be on anti-Gani Hathor. That's just what I'm seeing by this. Again, who knows how it actually works, if it really does work that well in practice. We'll see, because sometimes when you look at the paper, it's like, oh, this is good, this is bad, and you actually play with it, you're like, no, I was wrong, that's the opposite. The one thing that I thought was bad was awesome, and the one thing that I thought was good was actually nonsense, right? Just like the Water Dice Magician. Where do we see the Water Dice Magician being used? He was very exciting when he first came out. It's like, ignore defense, 4 hits, based on the number that you roll on dice. Like, oh, wow, 4 hits, ignore defense, water unit. Oh my god, he's gonna be so mad at people gonna build him all the time. He's too RNG, you can't rely on it, you can't really use it for, like, consistent arena offense, right? So, I mean, you can bring a Galleon in there and be like, well, roll the dice. Pun intended, no pun intended. But anyway, and then we have the drop information from here. Artifacts will be dropped in Steel Fortress, Punisher's Crypt. You'll be able to acquire higher grade. I think the Steel Fortress is going to do the, I think maybe it even said something about them. No, maybe it didn't. I feel like one of them is going to drop. I feel like one of them is going to drop the elemental artifacts for the left-hand side, and then the other one is going to drop the type artifacts for the right-hand side. You know, the left-hand one is only like, the artifacts is like, okay, this one is for wind units, this one is for fire units, this one is for water units. Again, I mentioned this a little bit more in my other video that I posted. This is already 30 minutes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, but I feel like one of them is going to drop the element ones and the other one's going to drop the type ones. That's just how I assume. New dungeon artifact drop info. B10 is going to drop only rares to legends. We don't want to farm any of the low ones. I mean, if you have to, right? If you want to get like some artifacts of some kind. But you can start getting legends only in B9. You can't get legends in B8. So just FYI. But I'm sure it says B9 and B10, both rare, hero, legend. Like, oh, so they must have the same drop rates. It doesn't mean they have the same drop rates. It just means you can get hero, rare, hero, and legend from B9 and B10. But I'm sure the B10 one's going to be higher percentage for hero and legends, and the B9 is going to be higher percentage for rare and heroes, right? So anyway, how to make the artifacts even more perfect. Oh god, yeah, this is another thing. Oh, this we didn't even touch on before. But there's even conversions. It's like reaps and grinds and gems for these artifacts now. They couldn't like add this in a later patch. Why are they giving it to us like now? Oh my god. And now we're gonna need extra storage for this stuff too. I feel like this is a little much. I feel like they should have just not released it with this just yet, because it's a little much right off the bat, right? Artifact conversion feature allows you to change the sub-properties of artifacts like conversion feature and rune enchantment, like gems. Artifact conversion is not like re-eps quite like that. It's more like gems. Divided into normal conversions, special conversions, and only artifacts with power up to 12 can be converted. Also, like the rune conversion, only one property can be changed for each artifact, like gems. And the converted property can be converted repeatedly, like gems. Just think about it as like gems equivalent, like rune gem. Like, oh, I'm gonna gem HP on this rune. It's like the conversions are the same thing for artifacts. Anyway, proceed by using conversion stones that dropped in new dungeons. Amount of conversion stones will be increased gradually wherever you use conversion stones on one artifact. Blah 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 blah. Is this basically the equivalent of gems and grinds, but on these, right? Anyway, why things keep popping up on this computer now? Stop popping up. I don't care. I don't care what your video games you're playing. Why do I have to pop up? Why do I have to show me that? Anyway. To craft engraved conversion stones, conversion dropped in Steel Fortress Punisher Crypt, and monsters are needed as material. See, I don't understand this. Monsters are needed as the material? That's scary. Hope you didn't feed those 3 stars, guys. Default grade of monsters used for material will define the grade of the engraved conversion stone. Legend, craft material, default 5-star monster. That's right, you have to feed some nat. That's what it looks like. Am I missing something that you have to feed 5-star monsters to actually do this? The engraved conversion stone will be crafted at random depending on the type of it. Well, that's just. Can we just get to this like after it comes out? Because this is a lot to like. This is a lot to process right now, especially at 5 in the morning, right? If you use Fire Death Knight HP type as crafting material, either Fire Engraved Conversion Stone or HP Engraved Conversion Stone will be crafted. I think we just cross this bridge when we come to it, right? Cross this bridge when we come to it, because it's a lot of extra stuff. Artifact matches the characteristics of the monster in the situation. Its effect will be amplified. This is different from the runes with good stats, which can be useful for most monsters. I don't know if I'm reading that wrong though. I'm not sure if I'm reading it wrong. If the property increases the damage dealt with the attacking together, the property will be used on a dark neostone agent or fire in a gun. Wait, what? Oh my god. It's so much. It's so much nonsense right now. And then we have giants. B12s. Let's just come. I'm just gonna come to this when we come to this. I'm just gonna To lessen this burden, we have made the following improvements. Oh my god. I'm burned out. I'm already burned out from reading this. Like, this is just so much right now. This is just so much. Because with the rune grinds and gems, we didn't even get those right away. We had to, like, wait for a while to get those. Like, we didn't just, like, the game starts and then we get the grinds and gems. It's like, no. With this, we already talked about. Giant's Dragon and Necro have one attribute each. They're going to be only 6-star runes will be dropped from B12. Again, similar to Epic 7, similar to that. 6-star legendary runes will be increased by 2.5 times compared to B10. This is like a slap in the face to the people that bought rune packs recently. It's like, oh, did you buy the rune packs? Thanks for the money. Now everyone gets much better runes, right? I'm sure it's going to take longer to beat these dungeons, but oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of people catch up, but also for like the people that have been farming like crazy for the longest time. They're like, oh great, now people are going to like catch up from like 6 months of my work. Going to catch up in like 2 months of their work. Okay. Hooray. Cool. Very nice. Yeah, and then last but not least, we're receiving many comments on auto repeat battle from a lot of summoners. We are preparing auto repeat battle that's suitable for Summoners War. They want to do it a different way. I don't know what they have in mind, but they're thinking about preparing it and considering what the best way to do it is. That's basically it for there. But yeah, B12 Giants, Dragons, Necro is very exciting. We'll see though. We'll see. Not that we get like basically the thing is like, well, I was gonna say basically the thing is like, you get 2.5 days worth of legend runes from one day, but it's kind of different too because you don't get the 5-star either. So, no, it's still the same. You get 2.5 times. So like in one day, you would get 2.5 times worth, 2.5 days worth of legendary 6-star runes. Yeah. But you still get more 5-star, I'm sorry, hero 6-star. Oh my god, I'm just gonna go to bed. You still get more hero 6-star runes as well. But, yeah, there's a lot. This one, this feeding monsters thing is a little wacky though. So we're gonna have to go, delve into this later, at a later date. We're gonna have to take a rain check on that. But anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of new ways to amplify your units, make them shine more. Like whatever it does before, it's going to do more of it and better now, right? Every unit is going to be better than it ever was before. We're going to be able to clickbait better than we're like, oh, we're clickbaiting this kind of Lucian where we're going to have bulldozers hitting for 150,000 damage. I'm joking. It's not going to be that insane, right? No, it's not going to be that insane. But even these new dungeons, again, they're going to be harder, but at the same time, they're going to be easier because we're going to have the artifacts as well, making our units just stronger in general. It's going to be crazy. You know what's going to suck, though, for the people that don't farm the artifacts, don't get the artifacts, and then their monsters are just... This is going to make a bigger... Is this going to make a bigger improvement? And I'll leave it at that. It's a lot of craziness, though. It's really a lot of craziness. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I talk so much, but I wanted to go over this dev note. I didn't think it was going to be 40 minutes, man. Anyway, that's it for this one. I will see you guys always. We still got to go over all the feeding Nat 5s and Nat 4 monsters. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because I'm just having a hard time processing all that stuff right now. I'm like, it's almost 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I didn't sleep with the live stream and recording and stuff like that. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are excited about the new update. I am very excited about it, though. I really am very excited about it. Even though it's crazy, I'm very excited about it. Anyway, that's it for this one. I will see you as always in the next one.